Most adults can remember when people used to smoke openly in public spaces, but just think, a 20-year-old has never seen it.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for things that were popular in the 80s but have since been outlawed.
There are decades of scientific peer-reviewed studies that make clear that lowering the legal drinking age will result in more deaths.
Number 10, driving without seatbelts. These days, most people fasten their seatbelts as soon as they get in the car without even thinking about it.
In the event of a crash, no matter how minor or serious, a seatbelt will help protect you. The seatbelt is your only restraint to keep you from flying out of the window.
But U.S. law didn't require seatbelts in all vehicles until 1968, and they were optional to use for years after that. In 1984, New York became the first state to make seatbelt wearing mandatory, and other states gradually jumped on board over the next decade.
People think that they're going to be harassed, and this is not our intent at all.
Their intent, they say, is to save lives.
Except that is for New Hampshire. If you're 18 or older or at least 57 inches tall, you still don't have to buckle up in the Granite State. If you truly hate seatbelts, you can still legally ride in the bed of a pickup truck in many states.
Florida law, what does it say? You can ride in it, but there are rules just like everything else.
Number 9, MDMA. First synthesized in 1912, this drug was initially used in psychotherapy in the 1970s. Studies have shown that it can have beneficial effects for people suffering from PTSD and social anxiety.
Well, a new study published in Nature Medicine shows that for people suffering with severe PTSD, the benefit of talk therapy could be greatly improved with an unlikely drug, MDMA.
In the 1980s, MDMA became popular as a party drug. By the middle of the decade, it was in widespread use in many parts of the country. In 1985, the DEA suddenly decided to classify MDMA as a Schedule I drug, essentially making it illegal overnight.
The Drug Enforcement Administration wants it controlled like heroin, a drug considered to have no medical use.
Many psychiatrists fought the classification, arguing that MDMA had legitimate medical uses, but their concerns were dismissed. Today, the FDA allows research on MDMA, but your therapist still can't prescribe it for you.
MDMA was a therapy drug before it became a party drug, and most people don't realize that, and we're trying to bring it back to being a therapy drug.
Number 8, lawn darts. A heavy, sharp object that's meant to be thrown pointy end first? What could go wrong?
The lawn dart game that Snow had purchased was supposed to be played this way. The darts tossed underhand into plastic rings on the grass.
After a slew of injuries in 1970, the FDA classified lawn darts as a mechanical hazard, meaning they couldn't be marketed to children and had to carry strict warning labels. Consumer protection groups pressured the government to ban them outright, but they lost that fight.
But because of pressure from the sporting goods industry, that ban was relaxed. The new law said the darts could be sold, but only in sporting goods departments as a game for adults. They could not be sold in toy stores or in toy departments, and the package had to carry a bold warning label.
Then in 1987, a 7-year-old girl was killed by a lawn dart, and her father, David Snow, went on a crusade to get the deadly game outlawed. Throughout the 1980s, more than 6,000 people went to the ER due to lawn dart injuries, the vast majority of whom were kids. In December 1988, Snow accomplished his goal and lawn darts were banned.
Well, I got a bill in Congress, and I got it banned twice by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and a bill signed by President Reagan.
Number 7, leaded gasoline. Tetraethyl lead was added to gasoline to improve vehicle performance and reduce engine wear starting in the 1920s.
Well, leaded gasoline was introduced decades ago to enhance octane in gasoline for cars.
But you've probably heard that lead is really bad for humans. Throughout most of the 20th century, all those cars full of people not wearing seatbelts were spewing a lot of it into the atmosphere.
In 1973, there were over 200,000 tons of lead emitted from automobiles in the United States alone.
In the mid-1970s, the U.S. started to phase out the use of leaded gas. Newer cars didn't need it, but many people kept using it because it was cheaper than unleaded. Amazingly, even though the dangers of lead exposure had been known for decades, leaded gas wasn't officially banned in America until 1996.
The reason is simple: price. Unleaded means shelling out about a nickel a gallon more.
Number 6, chlorofluorocarbon. If you were an 80s kid, you probably remember hearing a lot about the ozone layer. It was rapidly depleting thanks to chemicals being dumped into the atmosphere.
But the ozone layer has gotten thinner. Chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, are the primary culprits in ozone layer breakdown.
That was bad news for life on Earth. One of the worst culprits was chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs. They were used in a number of household items like refrigerators, aerosol spray cans, and fire extinguishers.
About 90% of CFCs currently in the atmosphere were emitted by industrialized countries in the northern hemisphere.
And of course, 80s hairstyles required a lot of aerosol hairspray. Fortunately, in an amazing example of international cooperation, the world came together to create the Montreal Protocol in 1987. It required the phase-out of many of the pollutants causing ozone depletion, including most CFCs. If not for this major step, climate change would probably be a lot worse than it already is.
Since then, the amount of chlorine and other ozone-depleting elements in the atmosphere have been falling.
Number 5. Raw milk. Pasteurization, discovered by Louis Pasteur in the 1860s, has saved millions, if not billions, of lives.
This was thanks to pasteurization, which Pasteur developed in 1864 to help wine and beer keep for longer.
Pasteurization involves heating a liquid to around 160 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 seconds, which kills most of the deadly microorganisms that thrive in milk and juice. It even increases the availability of some vitamins.
It's a centuries-old process that heats up milk to kill off bacteria like Salmonella, Listeria, or E. coli, then cools it back down.
By the 1980s, about half of states required stores to sell only pasteurized milk, but raw milk was still pretty easy to obtain. In the mid-80s, consumer group Public Citizen began pushing for a federal ban, citing hundreds of illnesses and dozens of deaths linked to raw milk. In 1987, a federal court outlawed the interstate sale of raw milk, and now only a handful of states allow it in retail stores.
And there's really no need to drink raw milk because the pasteurization process does not take out the nutrients.
Number 4. Joe Camel. The U.S. used to have a much more cavalier attitude towards smoking, especially teen smoking. In the 80s, many high schools still had designated smoking areas for students.
Roughly 25% of high school students in Washington state smoke cigarettes. Now, by law, you have to be 18 to buy cigarettes. But teen smokers say stores don't always check ID.
And candy cigarettes, which were often packaged exactly like the real thing, were popular with kids. But perhaps most shocking of all was the use of cartoon characters like Joe Camel to market cigarettes. Tobacco companies claimed they weren't targeting children, but the evidence says otherwise.
The tobacco companies have been hooking young people for many years. It's an addictive product, and then they can't get off the product later.
A 1991 study found that 90% of 6-year-old kids could identify Joe Camel, the same number that recognized Mickey Mouse. The American Heart Association and other health groups urged the FTC to ban the leather-clad mascot, but it took until 1997 to make it happen.
Joe Camel will be given a life sentence and put away forever.
Number 3. Asbestos. This incredibly toxic substance was widely used as a building material starting in the 1800s, but today it's illegal in most of the developed world.
As long as there's profit to be made and officials to be bribed, this will continue. But if you can't control asbestos, the most notorious industrial carcinogen known, what can you control?
It became popular because it's a great insulator and it's fireproof, but breathing in the fibers will seriously mess up your lungs and can cause cancer. Although the dangers were known for years, asbestos was still widely used in the US in the 1980s.
But is now known as a carcinogen and hazardous substance because of the dangerous health risks from exposure to this toxic mineral.
The EPA tried to ban it in 1989, but the industry challenged the ban in court and won. In fact, asbestos is still being used in some goods sold in America. In 2024, the EPA finally got a ban passed, which requires asbestos to be totally phased out by 2037.
The new final EPA rule will help get asbestos out of household products once and for all.
Number 2, drinking legally at age 18. Have you ever wondered why the drinking age in the U.S. is 21 when it's 18 or lower in most of the rest of the world?
The drinking age varied from state to state. Some said at 18, most at 21 until the 1980s.
Well, blame Ronald Reagan. When prohibition was repealed in 1933, most states set their minimum drinking ages at 21. In the 70s, when the federal voting age was reduced from 21 to 18, many states did the same with their drinking age. For just over a decade, 18-year-olds all over the country could pop open a cold one when they got home from school.
The proposal to raise the drinking age for beer has been the most over-debated measure to come before the General Assembly.
But drunk driving skyrocketed during that time. In 1984, Congress passed the National Minimum Drinking Age Act, which cut states' highway funding if they didn't raise their drinking ages back up to 21.
The bill we're gathered to sign today reflects the will of the American people. It takes the battle to stop drunk driving one crucial step further.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Indoor smoking. There was a time when you couldn't go anywhere in the US without being enveloped in a cloud of secondhand smoke. Smoking was allowed in restaurants, malls, schools, and on airplanes.
The smokers have won, but in this battle, the smoke hasn't cleared.
Cigarettes were even sold in vending machines. But as the health effects of smoking became widely known, people started pushing for bans on smoking indoors.
A coffee and a smoke. Many people enjoy the two together, but at one Lakewood restaurant, you'll soon only be able to have the coffee.
After all, it doesn't do much good to sit in the non-smoking section of a restaurant when the smokers are sitting just 10 or 20 feet away. In 1994, Utah passed the first ban on smoking in public places. Now, 38 states have totally or partially banned smoking in enclosed areas.
We should be able to smoke anywhere we want to. I mean, you know, in a public place. That's the way I see it.
For most people, smoking on a plane or in a restaurant is unthinkable. Which of these 80s things would you like to see make a comeback? Which ones do you think should stay banned? Let us know in the comments.
I would wear my seatbelt. If I get caught, I get caught, I guess.